And welcome back to yet another edition of the Oh No Wrestling Podcast. And if I may say, I'm sounding a little happier than usual because another victory for your one and only Sharp-Break Kid, your ONW Predictions Champion. That's right, that's me. My name is Owen, your Sharp-Break Kid. And along with me, of course, is, well, I guess the second place guys. You know, I don't know, I didn't really bother looking at. Once I knew I won, I didn't really care who was second, who was third. It doesn't matter because I'm the winner. But anyway, they're here with me, and it's the King of Bong Style, Duncan. How are you, my friend?
Fucking Christ.
Talk about rubbing it in. And and back with us for the first time in a little bit. It's good to have him here. It's none other than Clint Globsky, the modern day Maharaja Matthew. Welcome back to the show, buddy.
Thank you for having me. I missed you guys.
Missed you.
Yeah, you guys have had a couple good shows, though. I do always listen, and, you know, I think that that's one of the signs that, you know, I'm part of a good podcast and happy to be on it, is that, like, when I'm not on it, yeah, I still love listening to it. I listen to it, like, the next day, like, or that night if it gets up and I'm still up or something, like, I will start listening to it. And, like, the fact that I actually do want to just tune in and listen to you two jabronis talk about wrestling, even when I'm not involved, is pretty great.
Yeah, well, I mean, when there's winners like me, how can you resist? That's I
can't look away. I can't put my ears away. And plus, you know, I mean, all right, so I think we're going to talk about the Rumble. But,
we're definitely going to talk about the Rumble.
My safe bet, if I had shown you before I had sent you that, like, I had it all broken out. I did not have Big E picked. I had Brock picked.
Did you?
Like, I had Roman winning. I had Brock picked. And I had Rousey / Bianca / Sasha, and I was picking between those three. And, you know, I decided to play it. Like, my whole thing was, and I know we'll get into this, especially talking about Elimination Chamber. My whole thing was, like, they could have given the Rumble to someone other than Brock. Yeah. Because, like, Brock Roman didn't need that.
There were ways to get there if that's really what they wanted at WrestleMania without Brock winning the Rumble.
There were. But it also does put a little bit of, like, heat and steam behind it, even though he's the face going into it. But it is like, well, you didn't give everyone a chance. You know, it is kind of a way, like, I was thinking about it. I was like, maybe... And I'm not calling them geniuses, but it's somewhat ingenious that, like, everyone hated Brock so much and hated the Brock Roman thing that someone was like, you know what? Fuck it. Lean into it. Then enter him in the fucking Elimination Chamber. Tell him to shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
All these fucking marks out there.
And here's the deal. We've all said that Brock is on a hell of a run. He's incredibly likable right now. I find myself I was not mad when he won. That's the thing. I was not mad. Like, there are other ways they could have done it.
We all kind of knew as soon as he lost that title. It's like, oh.
And the way, and not just it's not necessarily just because he lost the title. It's the way he lost the title that that made that just so evident that was what was going to happen.
Absolutely.
So let's just go hop into the show, and very interesting choice. And now it makes sense, of course, but very interesting choice the way they laid out the matches. In my mind, they actually probably laid out the matches in the right way. It's not what I expected going in, but I think opening with Seth versus Roman also set a tone for the event itself. I want to also preface this as well. No kickoff match. Zero kickoff match. That was interesting to me. I figured that they might throw, I think we talked about this, Duncan, like they would maybe throw the tag match on there or something, though, but you know, like not even that, because why would you do that, I suppose? I mean, a lot of those guys ended up being in the Rumble to begin with anyway, so maybe it makes sense, but
yeah.
I expected to see something on there, especially with the amount of guys that that weren't in the Rumble. You know, no
Right.
Cesaros, no Finn Balor's. Like, you could have just literally
Yeah.
do Cesaro and Finn Balor, and that's probably going to steal the night, and you put it on your kickoff show. That would have been better than nothing. But alas, Roman and Seth did open, and I got to say, like, this match was really good.
The
Until
match was really
the
good,
finish.
but I popped so goddamn hard
Oh,
for Seth's entrance.
it.
Yeah,
It's
I mean,
such-
and I love that he did, because he fully leaned into that like Joker aesthetic too, coming down the steps. Did you see him doing that like Joaquin Phoenix Joker dance down the steps? He totally like just did, and I was like, yeah, I mean, because he's been doing that kind of like Joker villainy, like laughing madman.
He even came out on the SmackDown before, right? In the purple suit with the green tie and
absolutely.
the whole deal. So he's 100% playing into it. I feel like I'm a little bit like with it, only because of the fact, like, he's doing a great job with it. Don't get me wrong, but I'm a little with the Joker thing, just because it's been done so many times. It's
by
like
so many different people in so many different ways.
And I guess that is the beauty of the Jokers, that the Joker does evolve from character trait and like different versions of him and whatnot. But he's playing such kind of the dead on Joaquin Phoenix Joker thing that it's like, I don't know, it's maybe a little too on the nose for me. Like, again, he's doing a good job with it. Do you guys find that at all?
I think he like crescendoed into it, right? It was like slowly, like, remember when he was eating apples at Edge's house?
Yeah.
Like, you know, like that sort of thing. Like, one, like, he should go to Roman's house and eat apples, or he should like get to the table and be like, I'm the head of the table. Is this your table? Like, eating an apple or like a turkey
This
leg.
is your table. I'm the head of the table. Look at this table. This is my table.
But I think like the Joker thing kind of like upticked recently, and I'm wondering if that is going to eventually lead to the character change, like, because you know what I'm saying, like the way that he's going at it recently, like in the past like month or two, right, is not it wasn't as in your face the Jokery before. Now it's like go that way, but I don't think you can keep that intensity with the character for that long without it getting really really old and or really really annoying. So I don't know.
Or you'd have to take it in a really weird sociopathic direction that WWE is not comfortable with.
Probably not capable of doing, and treating like with kind of like respect, and treating that with like, I don't know, being kind of smart about it. But what's interesting about that whole dynamic too is it does seem still that they're kind of leaning towards Seth being a baby face at time, especially with this. So it's a very interesting like juxtaposition, and maybe that's what he's doing with the Joaquin Phoenix thing in a sense too, because in that movie, just Joker with Joaquin Phoenix as Joker, right? You are rooting for him. He is not a good guy, of course, by the end, and what he does is horrible, but you're still, you all along, you're kind of rooting for a heel, like, in the end. And so is that what they're doing with this Seth character in a sense?
And that's kind of like what the Joker, at least in like mainstream, like I'm not in the comic book scene, so pardon me if I say, I'm just saying it from the mainstream, but like people love the Joker.
He's
and
the villain
the
you
Joker
love
is
to
a bad
hate.
guy, right? And it's like, can you lean into that, right? Like it's someone that you like love but know that they do bad things, but they have that little bit that you like. There is like the tiniest bit of humanity, despite the most incredibly like inhumane and like fucked up and like crazy bizarre things they'll do. There's like that tiny bit where you're like, I can kind of relate to that, right?
But that's like watching Breaking Bad and relating to Walter White, or Sons of Anarchy and relating to any of those characters. Like, it's everybody can see themselves in the bad guy to some degree.
Yeah.
So,
and it's perfect.
And the character is likable enough in and of itself with that you can kind of get behind it, or at least like fan
it's
around
pro
it.
wrestling. So like the Joker archetype is perfect for a a borderline heel.
Well, it's perfect for
That could-
Seth because
Yeah.
Seth, we've always said, is so much better as a heel with his face promos come off as so disingenuous that they turn you off from them, and you don't make you
he's
sort
a
of
prick.
resent him. Like, and so
Smug prick.
this is a
Yeah.
perfect way of having him still portray essentially a heel character whilst getting cheered as a face.
Correct.
And I think that's if nothing else, that's a brilliant thing. And they really, like, I know, like, the match was great, and the finish of the match, like, is obviously cheap and so WWE, but at least it informed a character decision, right? Like, we've now established Roman as just like I mean, he's been doing this. He never wins his matches clean anymore, right? There's always some chicanery. So with a match like this, for this to happen, and for them to be so brutal with the chair shots and all that type of stuff, it gives you sympathy, of course, for Seth, and it makes you despise Roman as a true heel a little bit more. So moving forward, yes, I do think that Seth is going to become a baby face, but yeah, in a more heel manner, if that makes any sense. And I loved the Shield thing, like you said, man. The Shield thing coming out to the music and just going through the crowd, and the vest and
the whole
Well, and
flak
speaking
jacket
of-
and everything.
Well, and speaking of the end of the match, even though it wasn't like, but it was the way that Roman ended the Shield, right? So it's like
Yep.
Seth really did get in his head, right? So
Yep.
for him
Yeah.
to like not break that hold, right?
it
and then
shows
for
a
him to,
moment
like,
of
go
weak.
after so intensely, like that is like
Seth
breaking
doing
point, and,
the fist bump.
yeah.
Like-
And I don't know if you saw any of Raw last night, but he said when he came out and was doing it, he's like, I now have like, he's like, yeah, I lost. And he's like, but what I do have is that one little thing that is implanted that Roman will never forget that he's like, and next time I want to go up against him, like, he has to recognize that and remember that
and
I
it's
took him to that place.
It's a chink in Roman's armor as well. It's that clue as to, maybe it's not Seth, but it's that clue to how you beat Roman, right? The big boss. The big boss always has one like flaw,
Weakness.
like weakness that you have to be able to hit, and you have to figure out what that weakness is. Well, with Roman, is it you've got to get inside of his head. And that is an interesting thing, because that, might not be Brock, right? Like that's going to have to be somebody that has to get in his head later down the line. We'll talk about maybe even Mania ideas later, but all in all, like, I didn't hate the finish of that match as much as a lot of people did. I kind of wish it ended differently, but with what they've, like, the way they've written the story that is Rumble this year, that kind of had to happen.
Right.
Like, I kind of see why it had to happen. And I like that Roman isn't just being portrayed as a one-dimensional, boring, like, just dominant champion. Roman is different. Roman is kind of a chicken shit heel champion. Still can kick ass, but he's a chicken shit heel when it comes to winning. And he's going to do everything in his power that he can to lie, cheat, and steal his way through a match.
Yep.
Absolutely.
100%.
Well-
And yeah, to your point, it's good character evolution for this Roman Reigns character.
Second match was the Women's Rumble, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And that was
Which
kind of
had
like,
more
whoa.
surprises in it than the
Than the
fucking men's rumble.
Yeah. And now, of course, we understand why, because of the Brock stuff, and that had to be at the end of the show. But
Yeah, I don't think that the men's rumble needed, like, I don't think they needed to switch it around. I think it's more the point that the men's rumble, which we will get to,
Oh, yeah.
for me, was boring as shit.
Well, there were two Rumbles. There were when one was okay and one was kind of trash.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
and the women's was okay. The women's,
was okay.
It wasn't great. I don't think it's
but
I
it
don't
was,
think it's their
in
best
comparison,
women's
it was
Rumble.
much better than the men's.
It was. It was much better than the men's. And a few little highlights from that. you gotta throw something out for Ivory. Like I was like,
RTC Ivory at that.
That was probably the biggest surprise of the night.
Yeah.
Ivory.
Yeah.
I mean, because we all kind of knew about Rhonda, right? Like we knew that was like I was not
also
shocked.
Mighty Molly. I popped for Mighty Molly.
Yeah, she had the spot with Nikki Ash, and I don't really care what's going on with that, but it like at least it shows that Nikki Ash is
but
like they're doing.
I like her because I was a fan of the Hurricane. So like anything the Hurricane did, dude, come on, I love Shane Helms. Obviously, I love Shane Helms.
She just looks like Molly Holly now with her short hair. Like I just like don't beat up the soccer mom. Like she just looks like she's so vulnerable. But Ivory is. Did you know she's like 60?
Yeah,
I mean she looks it.
She does look it, but I mean.
But dude, she did so good, and she held on to the mic the whole fucking time. Even when she went over, I was like, mad props. She's still got it as far as that goes.
Yeah, she did a promo on like WWE, like a digital, like online afterwards, and it was actually pretty good too.
Here's the deal. I'm not gonna claim this was mine. Shout out to Sam Roberts Wrestling Podcast.
Oh, fucking Sam.
No, Sam had a good idea. It's like with this whole thing developing with Sonya Deville, she's gonna probably end up like out of her position of power, right? Like the more she's like doing, like she's gonna get back into the ring. And so why not actually have like Ivory as, if you're gonna have an authority figure, Ivory would be a perfect authority figure, and I kind of love it.
RTC Ivory is you know what? I wouldn't hate that.
There's something they can do with that. And I feel like it would work because she does kind of have, she has enough wrestling experience to back it up. You know, she's kind of a voice that, I mean, to be honest, is more believable as a authority figure than Sonya Deville.
I agree with that.
You know,
like,
that it just, I don't know, kind of makes sense. Brie Bella.
I also feel like she'd actually beat my ass too if I like you know, like she'd slap my hand with a ruler or something, you know, and like cut it open. I don't know.
She would slap my hand with a ruler for being left-handed.
Yes, that's probably
because I'm of the devil.
I hate to say it, but Brie Bella kind of looked terrible in this Rumble. She just, I mean, she's never been the best wrestler.
Now, do you mean appearance-wise or in-ring ability-wise?
Both.
Okay.
Both, to be clear. I
wasn't impressed by really either of their in-ring.
No, I wasn't impressed by Nikki's either, but Nikki looked like her wrestler self. I'm not saying Brie is not in bad shape. Brie is not in wrestling shape. Correct. Brie had no business being in with some of those women. It just, to me, looked wrong. Like it didn't fit, and Nikki at least passed that test, you know. I hope we don't get more Bellas, because here's the thing too, why are they like knocking out two, I think it was two, or at least one with Sarah Logan, they knocked out, and Summer Rae, I think it was Summer Rae and Sarah Logan, who had been released from the company, who have come back because WWE's offered them a payday to come back and do this Rumble because they don't have enough women, and they get knocked out very unceremoniously by the Bellas, and then the Bellas go and do like, you're losers, and throwing up L's on them.
Yeah.
This all just felt.
It didn't feel good.
It didn't feel good.
It was leading into something. Yeah.
It didn't feel good, and I didn't like it.
Didn't even like, if it wasn't leading into something, it just felt very cringy. It's just like, ugh.
Yeah.
This is very 2006 WWE, which we really don't need.
I wanted more for Mickie James in this.
Yeah.
Because
I wanted her to make it to the Final Four.
Like, all of a sudden, like with their hardcore country and coming out being a badass with her Impact Knockouts championship, and them actually acknowledging it, which was cool.
It was very cool.
Mm-hmm.
Like it made me want more Mickie James. I'm like, God damn it! Like this is almost a really missed opportunity that they had with her. Like she could have definitely been a much bigger deal, and I wouldn't rule out her ever going back to WWE.
She did do a digital after the Rumble.
Did she?
And and she was holding the belt like over her shoulder in the digital, like you could totally see it.
Awesome.
They said Impact Women's Champion, like Knockout Women's Champion, and then she said, like, when I came out, like, with the country, you know, she was like, WWE fans have never gotten to see that, and she was like, and I'm glad that I got to like experience that with it. Like, so they let her reference that for sure. I mean, granted, it was a digital, so it was only online, but I'm sure a bunch of people saw it. I mean, it's not like I went looking for it and I saw it. It was like, oh, that's kind of cool, you know? Yeah. So I was in that. I will say the Brie Bella thing, just really quickly, like everyone doing like the yes chant, and part of me, like the smart of me, wanted to be like, you know what? Fuck like 3/4 of you, because you all talk shit about fucking AEW. Yeah. But you can think whatever, but you won't watch it because it's a different promotion. Yet you're fucking doing the dude's chant, and he's crushing it over there. Like you could still watch him wrestle, and he's doing a really good job, and you really want it, but like it's for him. It's not. But like I don't know. It felt a little weird when they were all doing it, and then she, you know. And I get it, but it was still a little cringe to me.
I also don't think that she's earned that chant. Like, you know, like,
I don't think
so
either.
You know, you had 2 babies with him, but I don't know if that you get the chant with that. I didn't like with Sasha how quickly she was eliminated. I don't know if that's maybe a conditioning thing with her not, you know, just coming back. Maybe they didn't want to put her as like an Iron Man type figure of the match, like have her go kind of the distance. I felt like
Sailor Sasha or Sailor Banks, though, whatever you want to call it. It did some things for me.
You and all the other dorks.
I was in the kitchen. I had on like right, and I was like, whoa. I was like, wait, and I like put everything down, like walked. I was like, I gotta sit down.
Excuse me for a second. Yeah.
I went, hang on, shh, to Teresa, and I muted the TV for a second. Do you hear that? That is wrestling internet all collectively unzipping their pants.
It was the wrestling internet having a boner.
Yes. And no, I just felt like it would have been great if she was maybe Final 4. Like if she had gotten like a little further in, like I just maybe would have been better kind of for the story to keep us guessing. I did like that Shayna Baszler was Final 3? I mean, she came in late anyway, but she was still Final 3 because Charlotte was, you know, Charlotte and Rhonda were the Final 2. So I think Shayna was either Final 3 or Final 4.
Yeah. I think she was,
because I think Bianca got it before her.
Yeah.
And I don't necessarily agree with that one. Bianca was my pick, and I do hope that they can kind of like keep her strong, but who knows maybe that's what they're doing. I don't know. That's a different conversation.
It is interesting though, if you look at like the overall outcome and like kind of what's being set up, even though, you know, you're kind of like, this like 3 years ago? Like, are we like shifting back? Are all the Mandela effects going to get back into place? Like, what's happening?
Duncan said something I think that applies directly to this right after we were texting when we were watching the pay-per-view. And we were like, you know, this wasn't the worst pay-per-view we've ever seen. Sorry, premium live event. And but it wasn't like the greatest. But you said something, Duncan. It's just like, I just feel like I've seen all of this before. Like it's like a rerun of a pay-per-view.
Yeah. Like none of that was new. All of that was just like, okay, now this is gonna happen.
Yep.
And now this is gonna happen, and this is probably gonna happen too. So
it was predictable. I mean, I don't mind Rousey winning it. Like I think that she looked good. I think it kind of needed to happen. They needed something for WrestleMania, right? And we all want it to be Becky and Rhonda, but it won't. I mean, I think we clearly have already kind of set up right now what's going to happen, and it will be Flair. And
it's obviously Dewdrop and Rousey.
Dewdrop and Rousey.
Obviously.
You know,
I will say, Lita put in a hell of a showing.
Yeah, she did. And of course, with the stuff that's going on, like now we've got, it sounds like Lita and Becky at Elimination Chamber.
Lita and Becky, yep.
So that's cool. Like maybe one last Lita's not winning the belt. And I don't think that Lita is Becky's opponent in Mania. Like, I can't see them doing that, but maybe they can.
No, that's to bring her back because it's Saudi Arabia.
Mm-hmm.
And she just did the Rumble.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I wonder if this, though, like, this gave me some hope for Shayna Baszler. Like, maybe they haven't completely given up on her, and maybe with Rhonda's influence and them being friends, they can kind of, like, play with that. Maybe that was one of Rhonda's things. Like,
Well, and they did it, and Rousey and her, like, acknowledged it for a second when she was getting in the ring, right?
There was a look, and there was a total look there and everything.
Yeah.
I wonder, I mean, this is a genius idea. Literally have fucking Baszler as Rhonda's heater.
Yeah.
Like, just stick them together, and then Shayna can ride the rocket to the moon with, Rousey, because she's always going to be a huge star and popular. So that's going to do wonders for Shayna. And she gets to, bring her along into this journey. And then one day they can probably get to a point where they can have a feud. And that is something that I think all of us would be down with seeing.
I would love to see that.
Apparently then, like, after the women's match, the WrestleMania sign started to burn down after Ronda Rousey's pyro. And...
Well, that's because the next match was hot garbage.
Yes, it was. Yes, Becky and Dewdrop was really bad. And there were some, like, scary bumps in there, too. Like, I'm like, ooh, that did not look... ooh.
Yeah.
It was hard to watch.
Not scary in a good way, by the way.
That match did suck. And I was like, wow, the crowd is not into this.
Yeah.
Then I found out about the sign and I'm like, okay, they were distracted. I get it. Like, that's a thing. But still, like, I'm not going to go back and rewatch it. It was just not a good match.
I've seen better matches in an empty PC.
Yeah. I don't even need to go back to, like, know that it sucked.
Yeah, it was
regardless of the crowd interaction or not. It just wasn't a good match.
And it was dumb too because it also blended like we've not been told Dewdrop's a face by any means. Like, she's not. Like, and Becky's a heel, but people cheer Becky because she's Becky. And so it's like it's just confusing as to who am I? What?
Well, there was no like I was not bought into any of it. Like, I'm like, one, I don't get why this is happening. We all know who's going to win. Like, I have no, like, I'm not invested in this
not at all
any reason, and they gave me no reason to.
No,
and
they didn't.
Couldn't be less invested.
So,
I would rather see another, like, I'm trying to think of another match we've seen a million times. I would rather see Natalya in another tag team match. You know what I mean?
Here's the thing.
Which,
about
you know
this
what?
one.
I saw Becky Lynch. I've been watching binge watching on planes the show Billions on Showtime. The first four or five seasons are on Amazon Prime. So it's Paul Giamatti, which is awesome. But so in this latest season, the main hedge fund, Becky Lynch, comes in and does like a pep talk to like all the day traders like on the floor.
Is she like big time Bex? What type of Becky is she?
She's the man Bex.
She's the man Bex. Okay.
The man Bex. I think this was filmed maybe two or three years ago, so like around that time. But she did come in. It was kind of interesting to see her. Oh! By the way,
any good? Was she any good?
I don't know. She kind of annoys me now the way when she talks and the way that she like. I'm just like, I see it, I hear it. Like, I mean, she was good in the sense that it was Becky Lynch, and she was cutting a promo on all these day traders. So I mean, it was fun for me to see it as a wrestler.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, I popped because I wasn't expecting it, but still, she was being her. Really quick, sorry to get us off track, but I don't want to forget this.
You're fine.
I saw a John Cena movie a couple of weekends ago. Like that, it's like a horrible movie, but like John Cena plays like this completely out of John Cena character. It's called Vacation Friends. Have you guys seen this?
I think I've scrolled past this. Yes.
Okay. All right, so I will tell you where it is legal or whatever you choose to do, get really high.
Yeah.
And like, don't expect this movie to be good, right? So like this couple goes on vacation and this guy is kind of uptight and they see like this girl and this guy on a jet ski when they pull in, like, and like they're like smoking a bong and blah blah blah, and like woohoo! And it's John Cena and this girl.
John
and,
Cena's
like,
smoking a
the wife,
bong.
and the wife is like, oh, I think that this would be like a great thing to do, right? Like, oh, I want to be as free as them. And the guy is like this uptight guy, you know, like,
Yeah.
ugh. And like, so then they end up like friending them. And John Cena, he's like talking about like fucking and doing coke and eating hallucinogens and like
Party animal
he,
John
he, like,
Cena, huh?
he like John Cena feeds him mushrooms at one point and they like trip out. Like,
Fuck
it's
yeah.
it's a horrible movie.
What's it
but
called?
I did laugh my way through. It's called Vacation Friends. It's on Hulu.
Vacation Friends. All right.
Yeah.
I am
Really
watching.
bad movie, but really funny. If you're a John Cena fan, you want to see something completely different, but definitely do yourself a favor.
Well, he's
like,
doing great stuff with the Peacemaker and everything
Peacemaker,
too.
yeah.
Like he is like amazing. Just really quickly back to like the dewdrop Becky Lynch thing. I find it really interesting too. Like this was almost like a perfect chance for Dewdrop to become Piper Niven again, because she's wrestling a fellow British wrestler, right? Or depending on how you look at, I guess, Great Britain and all that, but whatever. But with Ireland, like being so closely attached and all this, like you could have had such a thing with like the Scottish chick versus like, we came up through the British independence scene, Becky, like you knew me by a different name. My name was Piper Niven. And then you kind of like establish this character back as who she really is. And you sort of set up a dynamic where it's like, yeah, you always look down on me then. You could, I don't want to say, but look, I'm here for you now and all that. It's like back in the day, I used to ruin you back in, the old days. I used to destroy you. And like, here you are, you think you're such tough shit. Like you could have built a story around just that. Like of just basically their heritage.
Yeah, but that would have been good storytelling that would have required organic build, and WWE's not about to put that kind of time into it.
And then you'd have to do like a real wrestling name as opposed to Dewdrop.
Well, yeah, that's the way and back then my name was Piper Niven.
I 100% agree. That's the way to give her grip because that's what she needs. It's just funny that they like won't and they stick with Dewdrop.
Yeah, they're just
that's gonna get her to the main event card. I mean, I know she just did a match with Becky, but it wasn't great.
I could see myself buying a Piper Niven shirt, but I could never buy a Dewdrop shirt.
Yeah.
This is also like kind of the same thing that happens in the next match, which I believe is Brock versus Lashley. And we had something like, we had a decent match in this one. It was the two beefy boys slapping meat and all that stuff, right?
There was a lot of meat slapping going on.
A lot of meat slapping, a lot of suplexes. But with this one, it was also kind of like, who's the heel, who's the face? Brock's been presented as a face since he came back this last run, like the whole time, right? So we kind of have that going. But then you've got Bobby coming down to the ring. He's slapping hands, man. He is fucking hitting up the crowd. He's
even on the way back after he won, he was taking the moment in and like hitting high fives and stuff,
drinking it in, man.
Like obviously, I think we're meant to perceive Lesnar as the face of the match, but neither of them, like Bobby wasn't presented as a heel. So I wonder what they're doing with that moving forward. Is Lashley slowly moving towards a face character, which I would kind of make sense?
Well, I mean, did you see the interaction on Raw between them?
No, I didn't. I heard a couple things about it.
I just got into the hotel and I was unpacking and had it on. It was around when it started. And to your point there, like, I mean, Brock came out and antagonized Bobby and MVP, right? Like during this, and like he came out like ready to go, and it was like, it's definitely not the same, but it's the way I can like relate it to kind of is like, it's like some like, it's almost like the Stone Cold thing, right? Like it's like he's now getting in your face and like you love it, and like it's kind of a heel, kind of a face, like still a badass.
He's riding that line, yeah.
Yeah, he is riding that line, like, and like he's like talking shit, but he's kind of like half laughing when he's saying it, like and talking into the mic, which I actually kind of like. Like it's very like smarky of him the way he does
dude,
it.
he's such a smart ass right
Yeah,
now.
and like he's like smiling all the time and laughing and like I don't know, it's just but he like is talking shit, right?
Yeah.
And like it's kind of like this guy's like could fuck you up. I actually I thought about it last night as I was watching. I was like, God, they really got me to like Brock.
Yeah, they did.
Like,
they won
did.
me
They
over.
fucking got me.
They won
Yeah,
me over.
I think I don't
He
know
did
how.
it. He
because
did
we
it.
were all so vehemently anti-Brock.
Here's what it
and
is.
Now it's
I figured it out. I totally figured it out with this one. We were anti-Brock because we thought Brock didn't give a shit about pro wrestling and was phoning it in. The minute that he showed that he can have fun
and he's still got it.
Then we can buy back in. It happened for a minute, if you remember, when he was still doing the old Brock thing, but he did the boombox Money in the Bank.
Box.
Yeah, the Brock box.
When he won Money in the Bank.
Yeah, when he won Money in the Bank. He did it then for a minute, and I think that might have been the clue to like, okay, there's something else to this Brock Lesnar character that we
need to humanize him.
Yes, and they did. They've done a fantastic. They say what you want about WWE. They've done a fan-fucking-tastic job with that experiment. That experiment has worked.
Absolutely. Well, and it's interesting because it's like him and Roman are like kind of slow. It was kind of like he's not fully on where Roman was, right, on faith, but like we all hated Roman so much back then too, right? It's like once now Roman started doing, now we're like, Brock Roman, like not excited. It was like written in the stars that we've seen it for eons, but it's like, I mean, I can see it. And then we got to
a point with Roman where we went from hating him to, okay, he's playing a great heel character. We're respecting him. We want to cheer him in the heel sense of the fashion, but no, still boo Roman. Now we're actually getting to a point with Roman where he's getting like actual real heat, but the good heat, not the bad heat. Like
not X-Pac heat.
Now we're like, oh, Roman, oh, you dastardly son of a bitch, right? Like we're getting that sort of heat with him.
Roman, someday.
Rather than just go away heat, which is where he was before.
Absolutely.
We kind of already talked about the finish of the Brock Lashley match, but how do we move forward with Heyman with this? And how does that work?
Am I the only one that feels like that's just such a quick, like, not with Roman, back with Roman, like, ding, ding, like, even for Heyman?
It is. It 100% is. I'm wondering, like, the way that whole thing went and the way it was like Roman, he puts out the hand, right, to get the belt. Like, he looks at Paul, hand me the belt. Like, he puts his hand out. And Heyman just, it's almost, he doesn't want to be with Roman, but he's actually, like, terrified so much that he has to do it. And it doesn't seem like, this wasn't, to me, like, a Heyman turn. This was, like, it wasn't presented in that way either. And
and even the way he walked out, like, sort of with the praying hands and sort of, like, I really feel like, I mean, Paul's gonna eat at least one F5 out of this.
Something's got to happen there for sure. It's almost gonna get to a point where we're gonna be sympathetic for Heyman.
Well, you also got to remember, it's not the first time that Heyman's turned on Brock.
No.
Because he's done it with Punk. You know what I mean? Like,
and there's gonna be something. I mean, with that Mania match, there's gonna be something that includes. To say,
like, what happens at the that's where I think. I mean, obviously the culmination of all of this, but like that he is part of that culmination, right?
Now, like, here's my question: is Brock so over right now that he wins a main event Mania match against Roman? Because going into that match, he is the obvious face. And if they want to send people home happy.
And who's going to... And
if it's not Brock to dethrone Roman,
if it's not Brock, who beats Roman?
That's it, because they haven't done a good enough job to have anybody be that guy.
Yeah.
No,
Like, you can't tell me it's Drew.
Brock,
And you have to take the belt off him for a while.
yeah, Brock toppled the Undertaker. Brock can conquer Roman.
Brock will.
It
come.
might take him to the limit,
but he's going to.
I think you're right.
But I also think that Heyman will be the one that costs Roman the match at WrestleMania, because he's not
on either of their sides anymore. Like, he can't. He's like it's like when a chick is dating two guys at the same time, right? And then she's like, I don't know, I can't. And then like both the guys are kind of like fighting for her affection, and she just essentially is just like, I can't take it anymore. And then she just kind of like, I don't want either one of you. And
I was really kind of going more towards your theory of when Roman handed him the belt and Paul was like not wanting to do it, that Paul is sort of like with Roman out of fear.
That's yeah.
And then cost like his alliances with Brock in the end.
I didn't want to I didn't want to do it, Brock, the whole time. I just like, maybe there's even some weird contractual thing behind the scenes that Paul Heyman
Brock
had to
knew that was going to happen the whole time.
Or one of the two. You have it so Heyman tries to interfere. I think in both these scenarios, in my mind, it might be in Roman's defense or something like that in the WrestleMania match.
Sure.
One scenario, he's there, and as like him and Brock are doing something, like Roman is setting up, and it's like Heyman's like helping him to like set up for like a spear. Brock moves and pushes Heyman in the way. Heyman takes the spear, right?
I like that. I like that.
There's that
or
cool. They're getting into it or something like that, and like through it, like he goes into like the F5 with Heyman, right? And as he's doing it, he can like F5 and like toss him into Roman or something like that.
And
I don't know.
Yeet.
Yes.
So
I like that too.
After that match, we had the Grit versus the It couples. It was a match. It was actually better than I expected.
It was a match.
It was a match. No, the star of the match is Maryse. 100%. Like, Maryse, I have such a crush on. I'm not gonna lie. She winked at me at WrestleMania 33 when I was having a smoke and I was backstage, and I was with Teresa. Teresa can attest to this. And Miz had just lost in that match to John Cena and Nikki Bella, and it was Miz and Maryse.
Was on the prowl,
right?
Oh my God! Yeah, and that was
Hit on Owen.
John Cena proposed.
Yeah. And Miz was like, he was kayfabing it up. He had changed. He was in his suit and he was leaving the arena, but he was walking like through this backstage area to kind of like get to the
smoking section.
Yeah, to get to the parking lot. And I just yelled out as Maryse is kind of like in tow. I'm just like, Miz, you're still awesome. And she turned and she winked at me, and I'm like, yeah, see, she wants me. Yeah, Maryse is, but no, she won my heart since then. And I think Maryse is just like seriously like an incredible like performer. Like, I just think she's really good. She is. She's just like in her facial expressions and just everything that she does. Like she's just got me. They had me buying for a split second that they were gonna take that match. After that flurry of offense from Maryse and like what they were kind of doing. Like I bought for a split second that Edge and Beth Phoenix were gonna lose this. And that's all you got to do to me, like, if you've done that, you've done enough for me to like this match and give it some sort of praise. So, like, credit where credit's due. It was what it was. Of course, really, the end goal was, Beth Phoenix and Edge. Like, it was cool. They did their finishers together and, like, they did the whole, like, in tandem thing. I still think Beth should have, like, they should have covered them both. Beth rolled off of Maryse.
Yeah.
And I wanted them to just, like, both get the pin. The 1, 2, 3. Like, why not just do that? Like, that looks cooler. But, yeah. Yeah, I mean, it was what it was. I don't know. I mean, does this story, is it over now? I mean,
can be. It doesn't need to continue.
I hope not. It's
That's the
like
ultimate thing. Like
either it's over or it's like part of a trilogy and it's going to be around for a while. And we got 2 more of these matches.
God,
I don't think
Saudi Arabia,
any reality needs that.
Yeah. Then we get to the men's rumble, final match of the night. Like we said, it was predictable, no surprises. Johnny Knoxville, I popped for a lot.
I popped too.
So I thought this, like, I don't know if it's true, but because of the glasses he was wearing, I was like, I wonder if they're recording it through those glasses so that they could release footage of him being in the ring and taking a bump.
I bet they are. That
I was like, that would be pretty cool. I don't know if maybe the footage didn't turn out well, but I was like, that's the only reason I could see him, like, because they were like pulled back with one of those sports bands, to keep it like, and they stayed on, and I was like, there's something in there because there's no lens.
Interesting. I never thought of that. All I thought of was when I saw him, I'm like, is he doing Andy Kauffman right now? And that's, if you look at his outfit, that's exactly what he was doing.
He looked like Swear Man from the Trailer Park Boys, Swear Net.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But look, when Andy Kauffman was doing his wrestling chicks thing.
Andy Kauffman was more like, it looked more like Long Johns. So I think it was an homage.
I've not heard anybody mention that. And I really wanted to bring it up to you guys. And like, am I crazy here, or is this like, an homage or something towards it?
Yeah.
It might be a nod towards Andy Kauffman, but like,
it felt like
a couple years ago when Joey Ryan did that thing at WrestleMania, and then Lawler shot him in the dick with the fireball.
Oh God!
Do you remember that?
No.
Yeah, so it was WrestleMania before the pandemic. So WrestleMania weekend in 2019, and it was WrestleCon. And he came out dressed Joey Ryan did it in an
independent event. Like what?
It was at WrestleCon.
At WrestleCon. Okay. You said WrestleMania. I'm like, when did Joey Ryan come out at WrestleMania?
No, it was WrestleMania. WrestleMania week.
Yeah. That's seriously that's what
confused me. The pandemic one, WrestleMania.
Yeah, in the empty arena, the Boner Yard. Remember? But no, it was WrestleCon, and he came out dressed exactly like Andy Kauffman, and then he cut the exact same Andy Kauffman promo, and then Lawler comes out to be his opponent. And then Lawler shoots him in the dick with a fireball.
Oh God, I vaguely remember. I think I saw like stills of it. I don't think I ever saw the match, or maybe I saw a GIF or something.
It was on High Spots, I think. It was WrestleCon like 2018 or 2019. But yeah, I'm sure. But yeah,
I have to go back and find that. That sounds actually something like do I? Because I don't want to support Joey Ryan.
But he gets shot in the dick
with a fireball by Jerry the King Lawler.
By Jerry the King Lawler. So it's really one sex offender to another.
Yeah. I'm passing it on. Is that what happened?
Yeah, it's just like,
Bad Bunny ruled again. He did.
Dude, he did. And then he got Rey Mysterio's mask at the end of the night.
Oh, is that what happened? Did he get Rey Mysterio's
Did
mask?
you see that? Yeah,
No.
Rey Mysterio, like he had a towel over his face, like half his face, and he took his mask off and he gave it to Bad Bunny after the match.
No shit. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Shane McMahon. Sigh. That's my note.
Listen.
Shane McMahon. Sigh.
Okay, first of all, every time I hear "Here comes the money," I get really excited.
And then you go.
And then I'm like, wait, no, God damn it, no.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't need more Shane McMahon.
So have you guys read that he was like the booker for the Rumble, and there's a lot of heat on him backstage now because of how late he booked him and how he kind of booked himself?
Yeah. Like what?
As there should be.
He didn't need to. He didn't need to come in. That he could have come in way earlier to do a surprise entrance. He wasn't going to win. He didn't need to be in the finals.
Here's the thing, if it sounds like he might be around for a bit again, and there's according to Meltzer, there's already a Shane McMahon match booked on WrestleMania, right?
Dude, Shane McMahon looked so gassed.
Dude.
He did not look good. He was out of breath.
Owen said it to me.
Yeah.
Like he's like, God damn it, he looks gassed already, and it was before he even hit the ring.
Yeah, he did not look good.
No, he did not. And the okay, so I got to jump back real quick and talk about how it was. I'm bummed that Reg wasn't in the men's rumble, but I was
he did
glad
an
to see
entry.
him.
He was highlighted. He was highlighted at very, very least, and that's huge, man.
He was, dude. He was highlighted a lot all over that show. Like, and then his entrance with Dana Brooke and like catching her and everything. But I will say, Kofi, you got to give up your spot now.
Oh yeah,
that's now the Reggie spot.
That should be the Reggie spot. Reggie would have
Kofi.
hit that.
He tried to play it off.
He tried to. He tried so hard, but
they just shot it low.
I got to give them WWE a little credit on this one too. I would have been really mad if they had just done it, like not shown it, like because we all saw it the first time around. It was so obvious. And if they had tried to done something with the replay where they cut it off just before you see it type thing, right? And I'm happy that they adhered to the rules of the match in kayfabe. Like, do me that at least. It's like, when the accidental, what was it, Batista and
John Cena
went over, with each other and they both hit the ground. Like, yeah, that wasn't supposed to happen, but what did they do? That was the time that wasn't that when Vince ripped his quads out and like basically
tore both of his quads sliding into the ring,
and it was like restart the match or whatever. Like, wasn't it that? Like, yeah, at least they like with that they acknowledge, right? Like that. No, that's
something wasn't
supposed to happen. This was one of those. Like, it felt very instantly like, oh shit, like, and
because even the announcers at first were just like, why is he?
Yeah, they were trying to cover their ass for either direction, but I just feel terrible for Kofi because I know like he's probably beating himself up so bad right now. And after all the incredible ones that he's done, you owe us nothing, man. Like it was bound to happen at some point, and it looked also like kind of a real nasty bump. Like
he landed right on his stomach and ribs or something.
Yeah.
He landed right in that crater where Big Show chopped him in the chest.
Yeah.
I wonder, like, I think probably, like, Kevin Owens probably feels terrible for it, too, because he was a big part of that bump. Like, he was obviously meant to give Kofi a lot of momentum as he, like, pushed him off.
Right.
And I could see him blaming himself, and it's just like, obviously this shit happens. It's what you do, and I did, like, if that was me or you or any one of us, and we took that bump, we'd have broken ribs. We would. And
dude, first
I
of all,
would be in the hospital for a minimum of 3 weeks.
I was gonna say none of us are even making it to that barricade.
No
matter how hard. KO
well, maybe if you were to yeet me, I'm light enough. You're big. Maybe
you would make it.
I
you
might.
would make it. Stafford would make it a little bit further than I would, and then I'm just like, boom, dead weight, like just literally like Ralph Wiggum. Just
people have also,
which actually might be the worst way to go on that.
I think it is.
It probably is.
I think it is too.
Probably is
for my own well-being.
I've heard like a lot of people talk shit, and I had to go back and see it, the clip of it. But how shitty like Shane McMahon's like elimination was, like how like talk about
he definitely fucked it the first time.
Yeah,
and like you could see like he got clotheslined and like went partway back, and then Brock got pissed.
And it's like, okay,
and,
no,
like,
just
he went and hit somebody else, and then he turned around and just bam. Clothesline the shit out of Shane.
Apparently the locker room is pissed, and there were over 20 rewrites for like both the Rumbles. Like that's
and apparently, so TJ Wilson, Tyson Kidd, is normally a big part of the women's Royal Rumble, and he wasn't backstage and hasn't been backstage in quite a while.
Man, that Natalia's husband too, right? Yeah, I wonder if there's some more to that. Like if that's something. I hope not, because he seems like he's been one of the more solid backstage presences. Yeah. That word that they have. So what do they do with the chamber? I mean, we've obviously got this.
Well, we've got two now. So Brock entered, right?
No,
So
we got all five, don't
Yeah,
we?
they announced
did we get all
everybody.
five?
Yeah, Bobby.
Okay, I thought we still had one or two more to go.
No, so Bobby is defending
Yeah.
the title
And
in
then
the Elimination
then
Chamber.
then it was Lesnar,
Lesnar,
and then
Rollins,
and then who beat KO last night?
Austin Theory,
Austin Theory,
Riddle, and AJ Styles.
AJ Styles.
This is a Saudi match, so you gotta kind of like be like, but I know they've been trying to make these more canon as of late. So
is that how you end up doing a title versus title match at Mania?
I mean, it feels likely Lesnar taking it in this one, but I don't know. I really don't know. I'm gonna hold off on really speculating with it. All I know is that the 5 names released are intriguing, and I think they've put some they've got some good storytelling abilities in there. They can do something too, to where this might be there to not have Brock get both the titles and do that move and title versus title, but maybe it's to then establish Lashley's opponent for Mania. And I'm kind of leaning towards that at the moment.
Well, if they really want, I think if they really want to keep Lashley up at this level, he also doesn't necessarily need to lose this match in Saudi. If they want to keep him on this level, they need to have people at this level of Roman and Brock. And granted, he might not be 100% there in the entire, our minds or all WWE's minds, but he's a champion, and they need people to be competing at that. They need to keep bringing people up.
And he's had a dominant championship reign over the last year.
Yeah. So do you kind of solidify it over there, and solidify him, right?
I think that they need to do that. I think that they need to do that. I think that they should do that. And the way how this, in my mind, they are turning him face in my mind, Lashley, right? Yeah. So I think the money in this one is somehow getting to some weird finish, which will establish a Lashley versus heel AJ Styles Mania main event. Because I think that's where, that to me that feels like a bigger money match than any of the other competitors that's not Brock Lesnar, right? Because we know he's doing his Roman thing. So right. I don't know, for some reason, maybe it's also part of their time in TNA, that you can play into. Lashley AJ seems to me it would work, and I think that they are slowly trying to position AJ back into the top of the card, and
they're also about to give Austin Theory a fucking hell of a push.
There's
he's already the match even between him and KO went for a while last night on Raw, and I was like, not a horrible match.
But there's that, and there's also the rumors too that Riddle was maybe slated to win the Rumble at one point.
The Rumble, which.
Yeah. And you got to think that he would be the one, he wouldn't go after Roman, right? If he were to win it.
No,
you'd have Bobby retain, or you'd have Bobby with that belt, and then you'd have Riddle and Bobby.
No, you would have Brock win that belt, and
then you'd have Riddle and Brock.
Riddle
and Brock.
I was even happy to see that brief little interaction between the two of them in the Rumble, because that just showed me that Brock is willing to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because Riddle talks a bunch of shit. He's been tweeting out #retire Brock
for a long time.
Here's a wild prediction that I hope this doesn't happen, but maybe your Shane match is Shane and Bobby Lashley.
I quit.
Yep, me too.
Don't do that, please. Don't.
And this was the last episode.
How about Shane and Austin Theory? You could play with the old man. Who do you like more, old man? Do you like me?
Also, I thought about this when I was watching Austin Theory because that's actually kind of funny. And I thought about this. Austin Theory is kind of like WWE's Sammy Guevara.
Yeah, that's accurate. That's accurate. Yeah.
100%. But, Owen, that is not... Fuck, that's probably the match we're going to get.
Which one?
Shane and Austin Theory.
Shane and Austin Theory, yeah. That's probably what they're going to do, right?
I think that's the best of all the pairings we could hope for, actually.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. That's the one that
And
also...
Shane goes over. Shane will go over in it, too. Shane will go over.
No. Shane is definitely going to go over in that. He's the best in the world. I think all you motherfuckers are forgetting
He's a McMahon.
He won it.
He is a
Saudi
McMahon.
Arabia.
He won it. He's the best
in the
in
world.
the world.
Exactly.
CM Punk should actually be paying Shane McMahon for using that phrase. Even though CM Punk used it first. But he retired.
That's it.
Shane claimed it again.
So you think we're getting Charlotte Rhonda?
Shane to start using the GTS. What?
Charlotte Rhonda, right? Like we're all thinking that probably at Mania. That's what I'm thinking.
That's what I'm thinking. But then what does Becky do?
Bianca.
Yeah. Okay.
What does Sasha do?
Gets involved in one of those in a triple threat, probably the Becky Bianca.
Okay, I could see that because I think Did you see that Bailey is sort of teasing a thing with Trish?
Yeah,
like she's trying to manifest the thing with Trish Stratus.
I'd watch that video. Wait, what?
Okay, easy. Easy.
Sorry, Sailor Moon.
All right, fair. But what if they're all different sailors? Like one of them Sailor Moon, Sailor Saturn, Sailor Jupiter.
Yeah.
Like what if, can we just have that?
All right. Trish can make the Gordon's Captain's fisherman seafood guy outfit look good. So just put her in.
This is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Even now. Trish is
Even
still
now.
banging.
Oh, man.
Stupid. Makes the rest of us look like a foot.
Yeah.
Oh, one other quick thing before we move on, because we're about at the end of the WWE talk, and we can move on to
Yeah, no shit.
Now we can actually talk about Dynamite. But one last thing with WWE, Ali, free Ali. All right, like he is done.
Oh,
like,
yeah, man,
he is
poor
done.
bastard.
Yeah.
I've heard
If
from
they had
They're
made him
going
get in
to
the Rumble.
Keep him at home, and he is not going to do fucking anything until his contract expires.
And unfortunately, the free Ali thing, I think, just makes them more spiteful.
Yep.
Like the fact that people are like that, they're like, nope. They're like, because if you and this is their fucking line in the sand, right? This is their fucking hill to die. Like, because if we do it for him because the internet said so, we got to do it for everybody.
Yep. Right. Exactly. Like, it sucks. I did hear that Nia Jax was asked to do the Rumble. That was on Renee Paquette's podcast. I listened to that today. Actually, a relatively interesting interview. Just about just kind of like, what Nia Jax is up to, and more just kind of like some of the stuff that led up to her departure from WWE. I'm not going to make any judgment calls. You can do so yourself. You can listen to the show. But yes, she was called. She confirmed, and she said, "Fuck no, I'm not doing that."
Can you blame her? Would you?
No.
I mean, I would because I'm a whore. But
there were a few others too. Like, there's rumor that there were like at least 2 or 3 other people that have done it. And I forget.
Jeff Hardy.
Jeff Hardy, I think has been. That's an interesting little one, right? Because he knew he was clean, pissed clean. They thought, he was completely fine and good for him. Happy for him in that regard, and. Yeah, then he gets offered to come back and then Hall of Fame, all that sort of shit, just basically to keep him away from AEW. That's all they're doing.
100%.
And yeah, he says, nope, fuck that. See you later. Yeah, and it's great that wrestlers have the ability right now to do that. Like that's not something that would have even been a possibility 5 years ago, right? Like or 3 years ago, really. Um,
Yeah.
and
How
now
do you
they
think
can.
that phone call went? Like answers like,
Yeah.
oh, hey, Jeff. WWE wasn't expecting you to answer.
We were planning on leaving a message.
Yeah.
This is awkward. So
So
hi.
weird, man. I don't know what happened between us. I don't really know what was said, but we got this Rumble coming up. Happens once a year.
I
Kind
don't
of
know
a
if
big
you're
deal.
familiar.
I don't know if
You
you've
might have
heard.
been
I
in
mean,
it
you've
once
been,
or twice. Yeah.
But we'd love to have
Is this
you.
Johnny
We're not
Ace
quite sure
making
why
this
you
phone
haven't
call?
been showing up to work.
Yeah. Pretend they never fired him. And
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, let's move on now to some talk of AEW and the one and only Revolution. So I gotta.
I was gonna say you want to start with the bad
Yeah,
news.
well, unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to go because I'm booked on a gig that whole week up in Washington, D.C. So I've got 2 tickets to Revolution. They are, I forget
4
what.
times market price.
Yeah, definitely. No, I'm willing to. I need to get rid of them. Two tickets to Revolution and a parking pass. And yeah, I'll make sure to post in the group with all the details of it. I'm not looking to make any money off of it. I'm just looking to cover costs and sell it to you guys, especially. I know there are plenty of other Ohno folks in that kind of area for the pay-per-view. So if you want to, hop in there and pick them up from me, then just let me know. Send me a DM, or like I said, I'll post in the Facebook group, just to, make it easy. But, man, I'm super bummed because I feel like this was going to be a really good show. And, in Orlando, could have been my second AEW pay-per-view. And here we go. I can't do it, but total bummer. But I think it's going to be a fun show. And I wanted to ask you guys what you thought as of right now, because we're only like 4 weeks away. We're right around there. 3.5, 4
Just
weeks
over
away.
a month.
Just
yeah.
over a month. Right around a month, yeah. So what do you, at this point right now, in your head, what are some matches that you would think would be taking place?
I mean, you got to do something with Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus.
Yep.
So
I've got that.
I don't think you.
I got a few written down, but that one I think I got an idea of and where that's.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're not gonna do Lucha.
I think you do Proud and Powerful.
Yeah.
I think it's finally time for Santana and Ortiz to take those belts, and I think they're going to, before all of this, they are, or maybe even on the night, they will split from the Inner Circle, and they will actually turn heel, and
Which they need to do.
Yep, which they need to do, and you'll have the more old school LAX, right, and a Proud and Powerful versus Jungle. I feel like Jurassic Express are kind of transitional champions. I think the right choice is to put those belts on Santana and Ortiz at Revolution.
You know what? I'm for that. I would also be for a I don't know why I'd be super excited for it, because probably be all right. But to that point, during this lead up, because Proud and Powerful are having the thing with Jericho, right? You do a thing where when they get involved, Jericho and Christian start a little thing, and you do a Jericho versus Christian match too.
I don't hate that. I think that would
distract.
Just that would distract from my fantasy booking that I've had for a little while. Is that Christian is going to be the guy? I mean, I guess it could play into it as well, but Christian is going to be the guy that eventually helps Jungle Boy turn heel as well. Because I want that to happen. And I think it will. And I think you'll eventually have a heel Jungle Boy in blue jeans as...
It's going to be like black pleather jeans. 'Cause
Yeah.
it's going to be like a Jericho protege, and Jericho's going to put black leather
No,
jacket on him.
no. Christian, no, he's going to align with Christian. He's not going to align
Oh.
with Jericho. No. Christian's going to get Jungle Boy to turn heel, and he's going to be,
okay.
he's going to be the new, the new
He's
Christian.
gonna be one of the peeps.
Yeah, he's gonna be one of the peeps. I feel like we're like Revolution, like, because we're getting the Punk MJF match this week, right? The first, I would assume, the first of more interactions with MJF and Punk.
Yeah.
So,
Which makes me wonder, it's just like, wow, you're going to do that on free TV. So what's going to happen that's going to prevent that match from really being
Wardlow.
Well, obviously.
Wardlow. I think this is the match on TV that Wardlow turns on MJF. And I think what happens is that he inserts himself for Revolution in a 3-way with MJF, Wardlow, and Punk.
I can see that. Because then Wardlow can take a loss.
Yep. And you don't necessarily have to have
MJF
Punk
get
or
pinned,
MJF,
or MJF probably pins Wardlow in that scenario.
Yeah.
And then what you do is you have that little tease of a feud with Punk and MJF, and then it gets pushed away for a little bit so that you can come back.
So you can have MJF and Wardlow also taking MJF out of his like quest for a world title,
Right.
That's just I'm purely just guessing, right? I don't think any of these, who knows what's going to happen, but Hangman and Cole feels like it's the right play for what that's going to happen to me right now.
Is Adam Cole ever going to win a match?
Oh, he never wins matches ever. No.
In AEW, he doesn't.
He wins all the time.
When?
He's won a bunch of matches. Yes, he has. Look up.
Yeah, he has.
He's
Didn't
won
he
a
just win
bunch
this
of
last week?
matches. I mean, he lost to Cassidy, but
this is what I'm saying. Like I don't feel the match. He doesn't win the matches that count.
He just lost the. No, I won't. No, I don't agree with that. Adam Cole has a very good win-loss record in AEW.
Right, but Adam Cole is being treated as a second fiddle, and he's not getting where's he going?
Nah,
What's he gonna do?
No,
don't just because you disagree with me.
Well, I do, and I'll explain.
What's he gonna do?
What's he gonna do?
Yeah,
what's
he gonna do?
Well, he's stuck embroiled in a undisputed era, like elite sort of not bidding war, but he's stuck in between that right now. So there's plenty of options of what they can do within that. I think ultimately he's going to split from the elite. I think that there's probably a chance that he turns face, and I think that that's what they're building to for him to eventually become a face. Like he has to be. He's not gonna Cole versus Hangman works, but he's not gonna win the first time around. Hangman will retain.
No. I think what's really going to hold Adam Cole back is they're not pulling the trigger on him until Omega comes back.
Which is kind of what they did with Omega in the beginnings of AEW, right? Like Omega was not, he was losing a lot of matches. He was certainly not the Omega of New Japan when AEW first started. I feel like they're almost they're using the same playbook, if you will, for Cole right now that they did with Omega in a lot of ways.
Almost, yeah. But it's just they can't do that elite blow off until Omega comes back.
That's fair. No, that's
100.
No, you're 100% right. It wouldn't make sense otherwise.
No, and because Omega killed him, or you know what I mean, in the kayfabe universe of being the elite, so they still have that, which they have not properly addressed.
I'm not worried about Cole though.
No. I'm not necessarily worried about Cole. It's just sort of it's hard for me to see where Orange goes.
Okay. Well, I think he's going to be tied up with Danhausen for a while. I've got a sneaky suspicion with that. And that's one of the matches I literally wrote down. Is that at Revolution, If
versus Orange
Danhausen can
Cassidy?
do it, if his legs and shit, yeah, if he's
Right.
if he's cleared. But think about this one: Orange and Danhausen versus the Young Bucks. Tell me that's
if
not
you
a
just
match
want
you want to
really
watch.
ridiculous. No, I do want to watch. I literally want to watch anything with Danhausen in it.
And you've already got the connection with the Elite because of the
Yep.
Adam Cole match. Like, that's where my mind goes. Like, I'm just trying to, like, because what do you do with Danhausen, right? Like, there's so many possibilities, but but only certain possibilities are going to work. And I feel like the Young Bucks are the perfect foils for a match. Like they'll pull off a comedy match like that. Or like you could do Orange and Danhausen versus like Colt Cabana or maybe some Dark Order combination or something. Like that would work too.
What if it was what if they're going for the tag titles?
That would be hilarious.
Like what if it was Proud and Powerful versus Orange and Danhausen?
But, we just got to get the belts off of Jurassic Express before Revolution, which I don't know that's happening.
I mean, could happen.
Could happen. They've done great.
Happen.
Yeah.
But I mean, okay, so say you've got Luchasaurus, say you've got Jurassic Express. That's fine. I do think that a Danhausen Orange match, like I like that.
I mean,
And
they've
like
done
Orange
it so many times. Obviously, like we've all
but
seen
Orange
it,
is such a better fit with Danhausen than Chuck and Trent.
Yeah. Like,
So I was just on AEW's website too because I was looking up Adam Cole's record, and I love seeing Danhausen like on the roster when you're scrolling through. It just
like he's
adds a
there.
smile to
He's
your
literally
face.
there.
It's amazing.
What's Cole's record?
Cole's he's actually doing better than you guys might have thought. 15-4 overall career, and that includes a 4-0. He's undefeated. 3 singles, 1 tag record this year in 2022.
Yeah.
Wait, so 15-4. He's had 20 or 19 matches already?
Dark elevation and shit too, probably. Yep.
Well, that's why I don't count that shit because I don't watch that shit.
No one does.
Which I think is the biggest problem with AEW and the way that they try and progress their.
Yeah, the thing is, it's not a bad thing to have both those shows and to have both of them on YouTube. You just have to acknowledge certain highlights every week. They need a 1 to 2 minute package of what happened this week on Dark and Dark Elevation. The important little points and look, someone's on a winning streak or someone's on a losing streak or just like
something.
give me like the ass boys are killing it over there, right? Because like,
Did you see the
embrace the
Danhausen music video for?
I sent it to Owen.
I still haven't watched it. Damn it, I forgot to watch that. I will watch that tonight. I know that Colton Gunn filed the trademark for ass boys today. It was something that came through, which I thought was hilarious.
Like, embrace the ass, son.
If not Cole, then for Revolution for Hangman, who do you do? Because you can't draw out Lance Archer that long.
No, what are they?
Cody?
Like, when are they going to pull the trigger on the Lance Archer? Cody.
Like I almost hesitate saying it, but it does feel like it might. But then again, the whole Cody not challenging for the title, like you got to get around that.
What if Cody just doesn't challenge for the title?
He just wants to wrestle Hangman, see who's better,
just to see if he can beat the AEW champion. To see.
And then he does, and he's like that. Oh my god, that would be such a dickhead thing to do.
And he will, and because it's not for the championship, so
Hangman
still holds on to it.
That makes me cringe. I don't like that. I don't like this.
Because Cody has proven that he has and can beat the AEW champion.
Welcome to the darkest timeline.
I'm sorry, I just put that into the universe, but
we'll get Andrade. What do you think? Andrade and Jose versus Sting and Darby Allin. That would be fun.
I mean, I guess
that's gonna
happen. Am I the only one that's tired of Sting and Darby Allin?
Yeah. No, you're not. It was what I meant to say. They need to separate. But I do love Andrade trying to buy the little kid that works for Sting. Like I do like that. That's the best. That's one of my favorite parts of the show. The broken English and just like everything works though. Like
So
they finally they figured out Andrade's character now at least. Now he just needs to like own the whole Hardy family thing, and Hardy needs to go, and then bring in Jeff, and they be the Hardy Boys on one last run, and then go away forever. Like that's how I feel about all that.
Yep.
But
I think we're gonna end up because we've got Pac and Penta versus House of Black this week, and Malachi keeps teasing.
So we're probably gonna get Pac, Penta, and
Malachi keeps teasing a third because like all of his posts are cryptic about like.
So we could do it. We could get Phoenix. We could get Phoenix back in, and then we could get a third into the House of Black. Who would it be? It's probably Buddy Matthews, right? Or whatever he's going by now. That would be because they're tight. I know they're tight, and they had that series together and all that.
I know they are.
It was teased. I want to say at one point. I think you can make it fit.
You can make it fit.
It's not It's not square peg round hole. It's like it just about fits through the round hole, like octagon, thing. Like it's you can if you did it right. I think you can, but I don't know that it's like a Bray
I don't think
or
his aesthetic. I don't think he fits.
You need more tattoos, brother.
No, you just need to be darker. Buddy
Yeah,
Matthews doesn't do that for me. My prediction is
Sami Callihan.
Pac does a full turn.
Ruby Soho.
Oh, turn her heel. I've said that for weeks. Turn her fucking. Yeah. You need to turn her heel because she's fucking garbage. She's hot garbage.
She's
right now.
horrible.
Yep.
Yeah, it just keeps getting worse. But her matches on the indies are good.
Yeah,
like
what the fuck is with that, right? Like that's so weird.
Like, why can't you have a decent match in your home promotion?
Fuck it, just put Nick Gage in the House of Black.
Nick Cage.
Nick Gage.
I mean, I would settle for Nick Cage.
Yeah.
I feel like it's gonna be one of the guys who, like, I keep wanting to say Dutch, who is one of the guys in Ring of Honor.
Could you put the Brit? No, you couldn't put.
When do they bring the Briscoes in too?
Yeah, that's gonna happen.
Yeah,
it's gotta happen.
Like when? Because it's about time.
They would be great to be the ones to actually beat Jurassic Express.
Yeah,
and then you have, or maybe you have Santana or Ortiz win it from Jurassic Express, and the Briscoes attack Santana and Ortiz, and now you have that. Yeah, after the match.
Because I think that. Who jumped? Oh, it was the Ring of Honor guys.
Well, FTR's doing the whole
FTR
feud.
did too. Yeah.
Yeah.
So like, there's a lot of places to go with it, I suppose. So. But
I love how FTR is also still like the AAA tag champs because they can't defend them because of COVID and all that shit. Like I don't think they were supposed to be champs this long. Oh, and Ray Phoenix, of course, almost breaking all of his arms.
Jesus Christ. That was terrifying to watch.
You know, I heard something, like I've been reading a couple books, but one of the things that I read in the Becoming All Elite book was that there's a chapter, of course, like on kind of like that period of time where they had the Dark Order tribute show and everything for the Luke Harper tribute show, like the Brody Lee. Sorry. I wrote
the John Huber.
It was the John Huber, but I wrote down Luke Harper in my notes because it's specific to WWE and it talks about like something I didn't know, but apparently is more known than I thought it to be. But when Luke Harper, towards his end of the run with WWE, when he was there, there was like a lot of pitches, and I kind of like in my mind, I'm like, I would have loved to have seen how that would have shaped out. But there were pitches for Luke Harper to be Sami Zayn's heater. And weirdly, I'm like, somehow that could have worked.
No, that could work.
Yeah, that could totally work.
Yeah, there was something about it. I'm like, that feels like it could. Yeah.
Well, it's like because Sammy's like so good on the mic and like can be like such like a whiny prick like type thing, but then like he has this like brooding muscle that like doesn't have to say a word, that can go in and do it for him, right? And he'll do like the dirty work that Sammy wants done.
Well, absolutely. And then you've got just the, I don't know, the fact that I'm realistically, I'm glad that it didn't happen, because if that would have happened and it took off, we might not have gotten Brody Lee in AEW, right? Like, so there is that. And yeah, I'm reading a couple books, right? I just read that one, and I'm reading Moxley's book, and it's just like, it is so heavy every time you get to any portion that discusses it. Mox has a nice short but sweet chapter about it, and I will implore any of you out there, if you're a wrestling fan, if you're a Mox fan, you're gonna absolutely.
If you're a sandwich fan,
you're gonna love this book. Like, he writes like a promo. Like, it's a an all over the place book. It's not chronological or anything like that, but it's super. If you're not even a big reader and you're a wrestling fan, this is the perfect book for you. Like, because I'm that guy. I don't read a ton, and when I do, though, it's nice to have something that's like, oh wow, like this is like a 3-page chapter, and then you're on to the next story, and then you're on to the next thing, and you're on to the next thing, and it's like it's really refreshing. Yeah, totally worth picking up. And I started reading it, and I made it about halfway through the book in the first day of reading it. So I haven't picked it up since, because I'm busy or whatever. But yeah, like it's the type of thing you could like, if you're an avid reader, you'll finish that shit in a day. If you have a long flight, or whatever. But this is yeah, it's worth every bit of it. And he does go into his chapter on sandwiches is worth the book alone. And it's fucking hilarious. I also love that he also talks quite a bit about how he's just very like goofy footed, and he trips all the time, and he's actually really, really clumsy. And there's a story in there. I won't spoil it completely, but he buys Renee. The title, I think, of the chapter is "Why I Don't Ride a Motorcycle." Like, and he's like, everybody thinks I rode a motorcycle because I've got a fucking sick jacket game, but this is why I don't ride. The same reason I don't ride a motorcycle is the same reason you very rarely see me go to the top rope. And it's like, basically, I'm a clumsy motherfucker, and gets on to, he buys Renee a scooter, and, you can read the rest if you buy the book, but it's good. It's good. It's a funny book. But it's heartfelt. It's all those things. Couple quick ones. Did you guys remember? Am I imagining this?
yes.
Did Chavo Guerrero become all elite at one point?
Yeah, he did.
What happened?
He 100% did.
Where was that? Where's that now?
I don't know. I'm over it though.
I mean, I'm not mad, really.
I mean, he hasn't been around for a hot ass minute.
Yeah,
Hold on, I'm checking because I was on their roster page. Hold on.
Yeah, is he still around on that one?
Dude, he is on there with a 0-0 career record.
There you go.
They haven't even updated his date to 2022. It still says 2021 overall. Everyone else says 2022.
Oh, maybe he's not.
Brody
all
Kings
elite.
doesn't. It says 2021, which is weird.
Well,
But he's aligned with the devil, so that's probably.
well, yeah, he can change. He can do whatever he wants. And now we've got, very lastly, before we get out of here, the announcement of the Ring of Honor Hall of Fame. And I think it's cool. I think it's a nice little, especially as the company, like, do we know what's happening? I know they've announced something coming.
They're
like,
going to be, they have an event coming up.
So
like April or something, right?
Yeah. Hang on.
But no, they're not going to be on Sinclair or on TV anymore, or do we know any of that?
Supercard of Honor, April 1st, Curtis Curwell Center, Texas.
Garland, Texas.
Garland, Texas.
So they're maybe just going to be doing live events.
Oh, then they have something else on 7-1.
So
Like a YouTube thing.
yeah. So the
Oh no, that's the award special. Never mind.
the main event that they've announced for Supercard of Honor is Jonathan Gresham, who is the current, I guess, he holds the original Ring of Honor championship, versus Bandito, who was the Ring of Honor champion but wasn't able to defend at the last pay-per-view before their restructuring because of COVID. So they're doing champion versus champion.
They've announced now, the
Briscoes.
The Briscoes is the first inductees of the ROH Hall of Fame, which makes a lot of sense. Like that's pretty good. Is that the only one that they've announced so far? Just the Briscoes?
I think
or?
so. So they're
that's
saying
it, yeah.
so they have one next Monday on or Tuesday on the 7th. Then on the 14th, and then on the 21st.
Okay,
so it looks like
that's kind of cool. There's
so.
every week you're gonna get one. Who's in it in your minds? I mean, if you're talking Ring of Honor, I mean, there's CM Punk, right? Like that's probably gonna have to go on the list. Samoa Joe.
Daniel
Joe,
Bryan.
Yeah, Daniel. Yeah. Seth. They probably won't. Do you think they even toy with that just because he, can't even acknowledge it? Was it Tyler Black, right?
Tyler Black.
Yeah. He feels like he should be in there. Nigel McGuinness, right? Like maybe that falls in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could definitely see that. I mean, do you think they throw that many people who are aligned with AEW out right away too?
That's a good question.
Like, because this is also, you got to think about it. This is also a good time to like solidify a couple of people.
Well, yeah, and I think like it's interesting
because
it's
attract back.
If it's their first class as well, like it's who are you acknowledging in that, like what made Ring of Honor. I feel like they might even throw Jay Lethal in there, but a AEW signed talent who probably doesn't need to be, if I'm going to be completely honest. Like I don't know that he has a fit in AEW for me.
I mean, he could be there, just not necessarily yet.
None of it feels forced for me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it feels really.
The Briscoes,
forced.
I get. Like the Briscoes are like the tag team of Ring of
Honor. I'd bring them in a heartbeat if I'm Tony.
You could put the Bucks. That's the thing.
Yeah, like, you can put the Bucks. You can. Yeah, you can.
Yeah, Bucks were a big part of Ring of Honor.
So it's the AEW Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
I mean, with Tyler Black.
Yeah.
Who can't accept his award because he works for the other company,
Oh my God, what if they sent out somebody dressed like Tyler Black?
Oh, that'd be hilarious. Well, I still think Seth should have come down to the ring on the Roman match, Rumble, and he should have done the streak of the hair. Like if he to do it right, he should have done the bleach streak. Like that would have been really cool. Any other final thoughts on the ROH Hall of Fame?
The only thing I wanted to bring up was the I think Matthew had read it. It was just this headline is, does CM Punk fear Hook? ?
Oh.
CM Punk says when talking about Hook, he goes, that kid, for the first time, like somebody's making memes saying so and so fears Hook, CM Punk fears Hook. Yeah, 100%. I'm 43 years old. He's like 16. I don't want to get in trouble, You're going to hurt a teenager. You go to jail for that sort of thing.
That's awesome. CM Punk does have a strong Twitter game, and fair play.
Yeah.
Like, that was good.
Yeah, I particularly like it when he calls other wrestling fans cunts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One very last thing is we didn't even mention the Battle of Los Angeles that happened. And Bola... I know it had a lot of issues with people like rescheduling, and I think a lot of, as life is right now, like problems with COVID and whatnot, people having to back out of the tournament. But you saw who won, right?
Yeah, it was that jabroni from 2.0.
Yeah, Daniel Garcia is.
Yeah, that fuckface.
He's really good, man. He's really good.
I know, but I hate the
Yeah, I get it.
I don't find the
good.
I found the 2.0 gimmick funny at first, and that ship has sailed for me. And Daniel Garcia really just, the problem with him is he's so just generic indie wrestler. He needs to be
Yep.
aligned with somebody until he can form a character and personality. And he is fantastic in the ring, but there's a lot left to be kind of figured out with him, and hopefully, I don't know who you align him with, because clearly the independent world loves him and AEW loves him, but Daniel Garcia, like, I feel like he might need to be. He needs a Jericho or something. Like he needs like that type of, maybe not him, but that type of guy to get me to care about him. Like it sounds really like condescending and awful, because he is so talented, but Daniel Garcia is also in the same mold as I feel Austin Theory is. They're both very good. You just haven't convinced me why I should invest in you.
Yeah, why should I give a shit about?
Yeah, they're guys? Just and they are generic wrestler.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's 100%. That's 100% it.
I mean, I know he's a good wrestler, but it's just like every time I watch them on Being the Elite, I'm just like, and I'm done.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're boring.
One thing I did
immediately fast forward through
just
that.
Boring.
One thing I did just think of, I would like to see Andrade have an interaction with Danhausen, thinking that he is.
That's genius. That's genius.
Yeah.
That's
thinking
genius.
that he's Darby.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
man.
love that.
And then
like,
you have
they could even play that on for a while, like.
Well, then you could play with that so well, because Danhausen would be all into it because of the sacks of money that are being offered. Like, he likes sacks of money.
Exactly. He loves sacks full of money. If he got him a blimp.
Yes. Andrade Hausen.
That would be amazing.
God, man. I gotta say,
I popped so hard.
There's gonna be so many fun little things with Danhausen. With that poster you sent me earlier today, Duncan, was that an official poster? Or was that put out by TNT, or was that you sent me?
I want to say,
because it was super dope.
Danhausen sent it, or Danhausen posted it, I think.
Oh, I just wonder if it was like, if that's like, I don't know. Is that a Danhausen thing, or are they actually posting that on their Twitter? Because it's like
his
it might be fan art, is what I'm kind of guessing.
It might be fan art, but he's got the very elite, very evil shirt.
I did see that. Yes, I might have to get it.
Nope.
I might have to get it.
I'm just such a fan of him.
I just wonder again. I wonder what they do with him. Like if TNT were to repost that, like, I feel like their numbers for Dynamite would fucking go nuts somehow. Like I just Danhausen, there's something about it. And you know what I loved about his debut too, is that even JR got a kick out of it.
Yep.
Even JR got a laugh about the whole thing, and it was more like, I think the most entertaining part of it all was when he was walking to the back, and he was like confused as to where he was. Like, he just doesn't know what is going on. Like, it's just, like,
hello, I am Danhausen.
Oh man, he stumbled upon something, and I think we all love it. And I just hope it doesn't. I hope it does just like stand up, like he can keep it going, because it does seem something like, I don't know. I'm not wishing the worst. I'm wishing the best.
We said that with Orange Cassidy, and they've done a good job, and he's done a good job.
It's true.
And one day, I wouldn't have said this a year ago, but now I feel like one day, might not be for 3-4 years, but one day I can see Orange Cassidy winning the world title. And I could,
even if it's just for like
short run,
is just for a day.
Yep. I could see him with the TNT title for a good couple months.
Yeah,
Easy.
that I could definitely
You know?
see. Like that definitely I could see.
That was something that I don't think I would have said a year and a half ago. And now I feel like that's something that, yeah, like he might be like the sixth pillar of, AEW. Like, but he's in there. Like he's on that next level of pillars, if you know what I mean?
Well, and what's interesting is that like when he has his matches now, he's more in go mode than anything. Whereas like he used to do his gimmick and then he would go sometimes. Now he goes and sometimes does the gimmick, and the gimmick gets a really big pop because he's not doing it all the time, but he's giving us good wrestling matches.
Yeah,
absolutely. Well, with that all said, if there's nothing else that you guys want to mention, I know we got to get out of here, but it has been a fantastic show. And I thank you all for listening. I'm sorry, I didn't give you a chance if there was anything you wanted to mention. Was there anything? Sorry.
Once the music starts, my mind erases.
Oh, it's gone. Yep. Yeah, it's gone. Yep. It's gone. Well, that's good. But everybody, check out our Patreon, patreon.com/010rs if you want to donate a couple extra bucks. If you're interested in the tickets that I have for sale for AEW Revolution, then you can either hit me up on Facebook. I'll post some information about it in the group, or how to find me. They're good tickets. You're going to want them. I'll sell them to you at face value. Hey, facebook.com/group/Ohno Wrestling and at Ohno Wrestling on Instagram. And, if you can't find us there, just, type it in Google or something, like that's just Ohno Wrestling for the Facebooks, for the YouTubes, for the everything pretty much. And boys, you want to sting it out?